Control of space means control of the world. From space, the Masters of Infinity would have the power to control the Earth's weather, to cause drought and flood, to change the tides and raise the levels of the sea, to divert the Gulf Stream and change the climates to frigid. There is something more important than the ultimate weapon, and that is the ultimate position. The position of total control over Earth that lies somewhere in outer space.
Space, the vast void that has baffled both primordial and modern man. It objectifies the vastness of human desire, for wealth, knowledge, for power. But what has greatly linked space to human desire is the seeming absence of satisfaction, infinity, or specifically, power. It has no known immediate and concrete economic value to mankind, yet it has propelled three great powers to travel yonder.
The house seems so silent. Why is it so weird? Let's check on Vince anyway. Hey Vince! What are you doing?
I'm playing Operation Flashpoint 3. Owned.
What's it about?
It's about the United States and China fighting over this fictional island in the East Sea called Skira, wherein the Russians had claims on it, and then the US came and everything got all messy. Oh god, I'm dead. Oh god, I'm dead.
That's nice. Anyway, I'll just check on Yahoo News for a while.
Okay. First blood!
Whoa! The Chinese are really moving up the ladder fast. It says here that they just recently launched a second lunar orbiter.
Well, I think that's a good thing, because if they get their population beyond 6 billion, then their government can just send those pesky excess to the moon. Hey, maybe we'll get dumplings on the moon, sweet.
I don't know if a restaurant will be conducive for business on such a desolative environment such as the moon.
Well, you underestimate the Chinese capability to generate a new market. I even think they sell ice water to the sinners in hell. Maybe they'll even make the moon the new Macau with all those casinos. Anyway, how did they get this far in the space program anyway? Last thing I heard from them, they were just hosting the Olympics, and now they went to the moon.
Well, I think it's time to ask Mr. Da Gan Tan about this development.
Mr. Dagantan?
Shh! Oh wise Mr. Dagantan, did China get so advanced in their space program? And what does this mean for the rest of the world? I cannot waste time with ignorant college students. Here, take this enchanted dim sum and get high. Be enlightened by it. Yes, O wise one.
What did you just say? Are we supposed to...
Just listen to what he said.
Eat.
Vince, wake up!
Where are we?
We're in a place where time and space ceases to move.
Why am I still moving?
Because you ate the enchanted dim sum.
What is that stuff made of anyway? Gave me quite a headache.
Well, that headache is better than the one you will get making a 30-page paper, you know. Now, stop whining and help me find a way to see our surrounding better.
Okay, I got this. Ooh.
What? How'd you make that work in this place? I thought nothing ever moves here, not even light.
I guess you're not that smart anyway.
你叫什么名字
Huh? You talking to me?
Yes, you, both of you.
Wait a minute. Did you just ask us our name in Mandarin? 我叫吴小米.
Shut up. Dude, I'm from Detroit. Anyway, I know what you seek, and I'm here to tell you how the Chinese space program developed. First, calm yourselves, close your eyes, and clear your mind. Listen to what I say.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Silence, you whining barbarian. Now let's begin. The former Soviet Union had the great honor of being the first to touch space. The United States surpassed the Soviet head start by setting foot on the moon. And now, China is inching her way onward, beyond her predecessors, hoping to create her own mark among the stars. What has propelled China to engage in this expensive exploration? How did she garner the knowledge, technology, and resources to embark on this ongoing journey? Is it simply a display of vanity or power? Or is there something else? Will she continue in her exploration to infinity and beyond?
That's what I wanted to know.
Don't you recognize rhetorical questions? The Cold War. This is where it all began. In a world order of bipolarity, the threat of nuclear war is imminent. After devastated by a civil war and a world war, the Chinese industrialization began with Soviet tutelage, hoping to promote proletariat internationalism. The Chinese initially thought the Soviet Union would be their best bet in evading conflicts that might endanger its rehabilitation from the wars that preceded it. But their hopes were allegedly betrayed by the Soviets.
I knew it, I knew it. Those vodka-drunken commies shouldn't be trusted.
The Chinese declared to separate themselves from Soviet influence, and on September 10, 1960, 17 days after the last Soviet scientist was recalled from China, the Chinese launched their first Russian-made R-2 rocket using Chinese propulsion system. Just like any other space program, it all starts with ballistics.
I thought they had a fight with the Russians. Why were they using Russian rockets?
Didn't you hear what he said earlier? They suffered from industrial devastation. Hence, they were in their initial stages. The rocket was probably left by the Russians after they split.
Exactly. The first ever fully Chinese operated exercise of an SRBM, short-range ballistic missile, was to be the marking moment when China leapt for the skies. This step was, however, not initially intended for developing a space program, but it was rather for the defense program. It was one of the focal aspects that Mao's Great Leap Forward was targeting. This was a significant moment for Chinese space program, since prior to this, the Soviet had already launched Sputnik 1, and this rocket would become a template that would be revised to Chinese standards.
So they were going to reverse engineer Soviet technology.
I think you're getting the hang of it. Hun, How?
Xie.
The preceding events after this first launch were geared towards increasing the projectile range and potency of the explosion. Thus, the Dongfeng-1 or DF-1 was a copy of the R2. The DF-2 was a failed MRBM. It did not gain the intended range for a mid-range ballistic missile. And as the Cold War escalated, Mao was determined to make a successful MRBM launch, and this was epitomized by Project 640's DF-2A. One of the rockets tested by Project 640 was an emulation of rockets being used as transport. By using rodents as passengers, they launched and recovered the T-7A S-1 sounding rocket in July 1964, and thus foreshadowing a prospect path in using Chinese rockets and long-range ballistic technology in space travel.
Talk about lab rats.
3 months after, the Red Dragon of Asia finally awoke and breathed a 150 million degrees Fahrenheit of nuclear explosion.
That was fun. Thermal nuclear test sure makes my day.
Yup, it sure does. So what happens next?
Succeeding their first successful nuclear test, the motivated Chinese ballistics designers went back to the drawing board to increase the range of their rockets. By around this time, they were already polishing their IRBMs, or Inter-Regional Ballistic Missiles. It was manifested in the DF-3 and the DF-4, and were beginning to contemplate on an ICBM, an Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, the DF-5.
Hold on. What's the difference between an IRBM and an ICBM?
The difference would lie in range. IRBMs would have a reach capability that will affect as far as Central Asia, South Asia, the Siberian area of Russia, and Southeast Asia. ICBMs, on the other hand, can reach as far as Washington, D.C. and the Kremlin in Moscow. It's pretty much anywhere on the face of the Earth.